Welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for more if you want to as well. And the presentation of this area will be done at the end of the week at strivescan.com/BACS. So without any further ado, let's start off with our first presenter of the evening, and that's going to be Tufts University.
Okay, hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Aidan O'Shea. I'm an admissions officer at Tufts University. I use the he, him pronouns, and I'm here just to chat just for a few minutes about what Tufts is all about. So what is Tufts? Tufts is a medium-sized research university, but we really have the culture of a liberal arts college. We really focus on three things: faculty relationships, undergrad research, and celebrating and uplifting the diverse experiences of our students. We have right around 6,000 undergrads, which places us pretty squarely within that sort of medium-sized territory. And those students pursue majors in one of our three different schools: the School of Arts and Sciences, the School of Engineering, and our Fine Arts School, the School of the Museum of Fine Arts at Tufts, which we call SMFA for short. But I really do think of it as three schools, but one Tufts. At the end of the day, you're a Tufts student, and once you're here, the walls between the schools are very, very low. I mentioned research. So our students really do delve into world-class research very easily and early on into their undergrad careers, and you can do research in literally any discipline. We have students doing research on soft-bodied robotics. We have students researching the rebirth of urban democracy and youth voter trends. We have students doing research on musical theater or the microbial communities in fermented food like kimchi. It really spans the gamut of all kinds of academic disciplines. Students will get involved as soon as their very first year on campus very often, and there's all kinds of funding for students to design their own independent research too. Tufts is also kind of in an interesting sweet spot as an institution where we really do straddle that line between a research university and a liberal arts college. So we are a tier one kind of Carnegie R1 research university, but we're also one of the smallest and one of the most undergrad focused that hold that designation. So you really get the best of both worlds with excellence in research, but also a really great commitment to undergrads and really great excellence in teaching. I would say it's hard to typify a Tufts student, but there's definitely some sort of broad threads that really interweave our community. I would say at a high level, if I had to pick some adjectives to describe Tufts students, I would say they're intellectually curious, they're globally minded, they're kind and collaborative. So our main undergrad campus, you can see in the top left-hand corner here. It's located in Medford, Somerville, Massachusetts, which is just 3 miles and 6 subway stops away from the heart of downtown Boston. So students really do get the best of both worlds with the sort of like quintessential New England residential college campus with old brick buildings and green open spaces to study in or sling a hammock between trees. But you also get all the really, really wonderful opportunities for academic and professional and social development that comes with being right near Boston, America's college town. Our BFA students live and study in the family neighborhood of Boston itself, right next door to the Museum of Fine Arts. And all Tufts undergrads really do take advantage of resources across the university and all of its other campuses and schools, whether it's an international relations major who is going to office hours with our diplomat in residence at the Fletcher School of International Law and Diplomacy, or maybe you're a biomedical engineer who's doing a funded summer research project at the vet school with vet students and professors working to design a respiratory airflow monitor for horses. So a lot of great opportunities that come from being part of this broader research university that still has undergrads really at its core of its mission. A little bit more about the liberal arts. It really is definitely at the core of all three of our undergrad programs: arts and sciences, engineering, and fine arts. The idea with the liberal arts education and why Tufts thinks it's so special, why I think it's so special, is it really does have that focus on how to think rather than teaching you what to think, right? So to that end, students are engaged in a hugely diverse array of courses throughout all 4 of their years, and they really will engage with all the different academic disciplines. While doing so, you'll get really close personal attention from faculty. 99% of our courses are taught by Tufts professors, and 70% of our classes are under 20 students. And then something else that I want to discuss is our experimental college, which gets to the last figure. I mentioned 99% of our courses are taught by Tufts faculty. The remaining 1% are taught in our experimental college. And I like to talk about the experimental college because I think it's a really excellent symbol of what makes our undergrad experience in philosophy so great and so different. So born in sort of the heyday of all the social movements of the 1960s, since its founding then, the experimental college has really sort of continued to push the boundaries on what's represented in traditional academia. So it offers these really cool curricular 4-credit courses that embrace a really timely issue or a niche topic or a deep dive into something obscure. Today, the college still offers courses taught by either visiting experts in the field or even fellow undergraduate students. And I'm just going to read a few course titles because they are so cool and they're also interesting and I just have to share. So some recent courses being offered are Sorry, Not Sorry, The Apology Through a Social Justice Lens, The Road to Eden, New England and the Roots of American Environmentalism, Political Songwriting 2021, Pandemics, Police, and Propaganda, Virtual Reality, The Ethics of Future Technology, and Asian Americans in the Media. So Tufts, we're so student-centered that we let students teach courses to their peers, of course, under the supervision of faculty. We really prize and we value the interdisciplinary and the timely, and our students really care about the communities in the world around them, and they're also having a lot of fun while they do that. We sometimes like to call Tufts students intellectually playful, and to this day, I can't think of a better way to encapsulate all of that sort of je ne sais quoi that makes Tufts so Tuftsy. A few other quick things that I want to lift up, one being affordability. Tufts is fortunate to have basically the most generous financial aid policy you can have, which is that we meet 100% of your demonstrated financial need. If you're admitted to Tufts, we want you to be able to come here for it to be a reality for your family. Second is testing. We're test optional, so totally up to you if you want to submit testing. I promise it is not a trick question. If you feel like you have scores and they add to your candidacy, great. If not, that's totally fine to not submit testing. And lastly, just some context for you folks in California. We have a broad geographic reach. California is one of our most represented states on campus, so you'll be in good company adjusting to the New England winters. And you can declare any major that you'd like. There's no such thing as an impacted major, and all of our students can graduate within 4 years. And that is all I have for you, besides a shameless plug to follow us on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, good evening, folks. My name is Tyler Lucier. I serve as the Associate Dean of Admission for Bates College in Lewiston, Maine. And so let me go ahead and share my screen with you all, and we'll help you learn a little bit more about Bates. So first and foremost, Bates is a small private liberal arts college located in Lewiston, Maine. We have about 2,000 total students, and we're located just about 2.5 hours north of Boston, for those of you who have not been to the state of Maine. Lewiston and Auburn make up the second largest city in the state of Maine, just being about 40 minutes north of the capital, which is Portland. Something that's really important to understand about Bates really starts with the founding of the college. Bates was founded in 1855, and since day one has been an institution focused on educating all individuals. Since the very beginning, we have welcomed women and students of color, and being founded in these values, being the first coeducational institution in the Northeast, is something that's incredibly important as we think about the inclusive values that we hold so near and dear to this very day. And so this mission statement tries to illuminate a few of those pieces. Opportunity here to see the historic quad where the campus was founded. But I think what's really important to understand also is where we are located. So as I mentioned, Bates is located in Lewiston and Auburn. It's about 100 acres of land right in the middle of our community. We're flanked by 2 large regional hospitals, St. Mary's Regional Medical Center, Central Maine Med. We're across the street from the local middle school, just down the road from the local high school, and only about a 10-minute walk to downtown Lisbon Street, where if you wanted to grab a bite to eat, grab a coffee, you're still tied directly to this community. What's important to understand about Bates is really our commitment to community engaged learning. Bates has been recognized annually as the top institution across the nation for this practice. And what I really mean by community engaged learning is really connecting your educational experience to real impactful work within the broader community, right? So the economic student who is looking to help a local business, or the foreign language student who may be serving as a translator, or it could be the public health student looking at the Affordable Care Act and how things may be playing out in the local hospital system. But every year our students are putting over 80,000 hours into the community with community-based work. Every semester, half of our students will be taking courses that require community engagement as a part of the curriculum. And also every club and organization and every athletic team has to have a community liaison as a part of their group. So no matter in what area you ultimately may fall socially, you'll find that a real commitment to the broader community is incredibly important for our students. But also, if you are looking to get out of maybe Lewiston and Auburn and want to head to the coast, this next photo will show you our Bates Morse Mountain Conservation Area. So for those of you looking to explore the coastline in Maine, the Atlantic Ocean this time, you have a great opportunity here for environmental studies research, marine biology research, or for those of you who just want to hang out along the coastline, this is, again, about 500 acres of land that is available to our students. And then for any of you really adventurous folks, maybe head up to Mount Katahdin and hike in the Baxter State Park. For some basics around academics, you can see we have 37 majors and 26 minors. Some of the more popular programs at the moment include political science, psychology, economics, and biology. Important to understand that you are not required to declare a major till second term of your sophomore year, so you have flexibility, you have some time. And with a 10-to-1 faculty to student ratio, you're going to know your faculty on a first name basis. You're going to be able to build these incredible bonds. And really, again, a Bates classroom is not a place where you can hide. You'll be a part of that discussion each and every single day. What's also unique is the academic calendar and its structure. Bates operates on what we refer to as a 4-4-1, where you'll take 4 classes in the fall, 4 classes in the spring, and then 1 class for about 3 weeks. And that's what we call our short-term period. This is an opportunity to, one, hopefully the snow will be going away and you'll be enjoying beautiful Maine in the springtime, but also a chance to take courses that may be a little unique, like dining your way through French cinema, geology courses that may take you along the coast of Maine, opportunities for research, but really short term is a chance to kind of clear your head, focus in just one class, and enjoy May in Maine. As I alluded to before, undergraduate research is alive and well at Bates and is something that's even woven into the graduation requirements. Every student at Bates is required to complete a senior thesis. So before you leave, you will author and present at our Mount David Summit, really a graduate level research project, something where you will conduct interviews and potential experiments and a topic that you'll work with a thesis advisor to develop and then ultimately to publish. So again, research is certainly something that can happen as early as your freshman year and will be a part of your graduation at Bates. For those of you that may be unsure about what you want to do, or you're unsure that you're going to land on your feet after college, the Center for Purposeful Work really aims to take career readiness and find a more meaningful connection. The Center for Purposeful Work, which came to Bates and was founded at Bates a little over 6 years ago, aims to align who you are as a person with an ultimate career opportunity to try to find a deeper meaning to hopefully what will turn into a career for you. So over the last couple of years, the institution has added a lot of layers to try to ensure student success. Things like funding for unpaid internships, practitioner-taught courses where experts will come teach you the ins and outs of their industry, purposeful work infusion courses where faculty will put the learning on hold and bring in guest lecturers where they can draw the connections between the philosophy course you love and how that applies in their everyday career. And so there's a lot of pieces, but over the last few years, we've seen that 99% of our students have been settled within 6 months of graduating. Acceptance rates to medical and law school have been around 90%. And that about 70% of our students will complete a master's degree or higher within 10 years of graduating from Bates. So also continuing to inspire a lifelong love of learning. The next few pieces just always allow me to recall an incredible collegiate dance festival that happens every summer, one of the largest across the country. For those of you with an adventurous spirit looking to explore the outdoors, one of the oldest outing clubs in the nation, over 30 varsity Division III athletic teams. Bates College reached carbon neutrality in 2019 ahead of schedule, which is something we're excited about and to continue to build upon. Some wonderful food and not a bad view from the quad. And then lastly, a few other tips. Bates has been test optional since 1984. So for those of you that are concerned about submitting testing, a little over 50% of last year's admitted class submitted no standardized testing of any form as a part of their application review. So truly test optional means that we do practice holistic review and really trying to understand the complete picture. And we do meet 100% of a student's demonstrated need for all 4 years. So really important that Bates is an affordable option for all students. And the last piece, I'll maybe follow Aiden's note here. Please check out the social media for an authentic view on what the student experience is truly like. And certainly there's my contact information as well. But I will turn it over to my next colleague.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Jenna Sharino. I serve as the Associate Director of St. Mary's College of California. I believe we're the only California school with our session today. I work specifically with students from throughout the South Bay, so San Jose, Santa Clara counties. So please don't hesitate to be in touch with me if you have any questions, want to come visit campus. We are currently open for campus tours. So I look forward to sharing more about St. Mary's with you. Let me just start my timer here. So first and foremost, I'd love to introduce St. Mary's to you as one of the colleges that change lives. It's a nonprofit organization that was created based on the book that was written by Lauren Pope, who established a vantage point of schools that are all liberal arts colleges, 45 of them, that focus on the student-centered college search process that kind of steers students and families away from rankings, statistics, and reports, and get down to the emphasis of the importance of fit. And St. Mary's is the only California, only Catholic, and only Division I school that's renowned in the colleges that change lives. So I definitely recommend going to the website and also reading the book if you haven't already. It's a really helpful guide and exposes you to some really tremendous colleges. We're located in Moraga, so for wherever you're located in the Bay Area, likely not too far from you, but far enough where you definitely feel like you're going away and out of your hometown. We're about 35 minutes directly east of San Francisco, about 20 minutes east of Oakland and Berkeley, and then 15 minutes from Walnut Creek. So being right in the heart of everything in the East Bay, such close proximity to all the advantages and the diversity of the Bay Area is something that I think students really value and take advantage of when it comes down to internships, research opportunities, and also just getting off campus and enjoying the time that you have as a student, going to museums or concerts when they open back up, and going out to get some great food. Our undergraduate student population is a little under 2,700 students. So we're certainly a smaller school, but big in school spirit, big in residential and community giving. We have about 100% of our students live on campus their first year, and we guarantee housing on campus the first 2 years. But about 70% of our students do remain on campus as a student all 4 years. So students really want to have that desire to live and learn on campus, to be able to connect with their professors and their peers in meaningful ways that build community. We have a dedicated and defined liberal arts core curriculum. So at the same time that students are pursuing their major, you will also simultaneously be taking classes that fulfill the liberal arts. So in the humanities, the creative studies, the sciences, math, theology, and religious courses, really exposing yourself to learning and the fundamentals of learning to see the interconnectedness of, not only the depths of who you are as a person, but how we can apply our knowledge to our potential career paths towards making the world a little bit of a better place than how we came into it. And our motto at St. Mary's as a Catholic LaSallian college is actually enter to learn and leave to serve. Our core principles surround inclusion, diversity, respect for all, and civic engagement and social justice. So our student demographics really represent that as well. About 56% of our students identify as a religion other than Catholic. We don't require Mass, though it is held every day for students that do want to uphold their faith as part of their college experience too. We are Division I athletics. So notably, we're highly competitive in our conference, small school, big school spirit. Our men's and women's Division I teams, there's 16 of them, and we have 23 different club and intramural sports that still compete really competitively. So students are really proud to be Gales at St. Mary's. Touching on the diversity of our students, I think this is an incredible representation of the Bay Area that we live in. About 57% of our students identify as a student of color or as a multicultural student, and 31%, so a third of our students, are the first in their family to attend college. And these students are served by what's called the High Potential and TRIO program. It's a 4-year advising and scholarship program specific to low income and first generation students. We have 43 different academic majors that span across 3 schools, You do not need to declare your major until after the end of your first year. So in the beginning of your sophomore year, you'll have really figured out what you want to study. So there is that flexibility going into your first year, knowing that, you know, the options are available to you. We have about an average class size of 19 students. So engaged, discussion-based, collaborative mentorship is really the heart of our education. Our faculty have earned their top degrees in their field. 97% have earned their PhD or their doctoral degrees, and we don't have any teaching assistants. So no graduate students teach any of our undergraduate courses. I already touched on campus life, but really vibrant. We're definitely excited to welcome students back to campus this fall, and really excited to kick back into the full swing of January term, which is my favorite thing about the St. Mary's experience. We are on a 4-1-4 academic calendar. So in the midst of both semesters, students take one short term. It's a 1-credit class in the month of January that has potentially nothing to do with anything in relation to your major. You can also do an independent study or a research topic, or you can do a domestic or international study abroad experience. So engaging globally and thinking worldly, whether you're taking a class on campus or doing so in a completely different continent, that's the goal of January term, to really put your major on a box and a shelf and focus on something entirely different because you're excited to learn, which brings us back to why you're coming to college, hopefully in the first place. Collegiate seminar is also a really unique experience at St. Mary's. It's a class that students take once a year, so one semester each year, and it's a focus in the great books, which is very rare. Harvard has a great books program, Yale and St. John's. St. Mary's does as well. So our students will expose themselves by reading and deep diving into some of the greatest texts written by authors, politicians, spiritual leaders of the last 3,000 years up until the 21st century. So diving into the deep meaning of these texts and bringing to light the themes and commonalities and intricacies that we're making those connections today and how they impact our lives. We have 2 application deadlines: early action admissions, November 15th, and regular decision is January 15th. All we need is your application, your Common App or the St. Mary's app, your high school transcript, and a letter of recommendation. We do not require test scores. We're completely test optional and will be for the future. And we do award up to $30,000 of merit-based scholarships for first-year students and up to $15,000 for transfer students. And both of these scholarships, whether you're a freshman or transfer, are automatically determined when you apply based on your GPA. And our middle 50% of our last incoming class fell between a 3.3 and a 3.9 GPA for significant up to that $30,000 scholarship. 90% of our students receive financial aid from St. Mary's, both institutionally through merit, grants, and then also through filing the FAFSA, so need-based aid as well. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any questions, this is where you can reach me. Also, I'll send in the link to visit campus at some point. Hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.
Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. Thank you so much for being here. It's been so fun. We've been in these same groups for all of our sessions, so I know so much more about all these schools than I did yesterday. Well, I'm Glenn. I'm here from Middlebury College in the great state of Vermont. I want to start by just telling you a few quick facts. So Middlebury is a liberal arts college. It has about 2,500 students. We're fully undergraduate. So that means you'll have close connections with your faculty, and all the resources on campus are for undergrads. Students come from all 50 states and over 70 countries around the globe. Exploration and discovery are a defining piece of learning at Middlebury. You can choose from 850 different classes, 49 majors and programs, and then more than half of those are interdisciplinary. In addition to our Vermont campus, we have a large network of schools abroad, language schools in the summer that are fully immersive, and our Monterey Institute for International Studies in California. So now I'd like to dive into some details about what makes Middlebury so special. So first, our location, we're in the Champlain Valley of Vermont, so the Green Mountains to the east and the Adirondacks to the west. Vermont is also called the brave little state because we were the first state to join the union, the first state to allow same-sex civil unions, the first to outlaw slavery. So we've done a few things first in this country. We're the brave little state. When we're deeply rooted in our sense of place and this community. It's a strong sense of connection to our local environment that's central to our identity, and it really allows students to take advantage of recreational, academic, and community engagement throughout the town of Middlebury and also Vermont at large. So one of the questions that we probably all hear a lot is what makes your school different? What makes Middlebury different? And so to me, I think it's because it holds two identities that might be juxtaposed at first. And that's when they're taken together, what makes it so special. So first, we are a small college in a small state with that strong sense of community and connection. But then at the same time, we're this globally connected college that places a strong emphasis on cross-cultural understanding with boundaries that exist far beyond our Vermont campus, as you can see on this map. This is demonstrated in several ways. So through our international curriculum and internationally diverse student body, extensive abroad experiences, 60% of juniors study abroad for at least one semester, often in the language immersion. All of these green flags represent a Middlebury school abroad. So we have 37 different schools in 17 countries. Your academic and financial aid support from Middlebury will follow you to any of these locations along the way. Another unique feature of MID is our academic experience through the environmental studies program. It's the oldest and first in the country we're the first in the country to have an environmental studies program, and it's inherently multidisciplinary. This environmentalism is also a pillar of our identity. We became carbon neutral in 2016, and now we just started a new sustainability plan called Energy 2028. So 7 years from now, we're planning to be run off of 100% renewable energy. Both these initiatives were student driven, and they highlight the emphasis that Middlebury places on the student voice and how it shapes our priorities. Another highlight of MID is our J term. Similar to St. Mary's, we have a 4-1-4 academic calendar. This 4-week term is a condensed academic semester, but you can pursue a number of different things. You can do a class, an internship, or an independent study. After J term wraps up, we welcome our first year Feb students to campus. Middlebury has one of the oldest, largest, and most well-established mid-year enrollment programs in the country. Febs often spend their gap semester, their half gap year, doing something like traveling, holding a job, visiting with family, engaging in service projects. The sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want and then bring that adventurous spirit to MID. After completing 4 years, Febs take part in a really unique tradition called the Ski Down. This is graduation for our Febs. We are one of only 2 colleges in the country that own our own ski mountain. Febs then proudly wear their .5 at the end of their graduation year and join a really long tradition of adventurous students that want to do something a little bit different. So whether MID grads head off in the winter or the spring, there is a tremendous amount of support from our Center for Careers and Internships in terms of job searching, finding funding for internships, grad school applications, whatever it might be, soul searching. We all need that, and a lot more. So to wrap up, I'll give you a few of the logistical pieces of applying to MID. You can apply on the Coalition or the Common app. Our financial aid meets 100% of demonstrated need. We're also fully need blind in our admissions process. Those are 2 really important pieces to look at when you're looking at a college, because a lot of times the school will be one, but not the other. And there's only a handful that are both. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you explore Middlebury more. Feel free to email and check out our website.
All right, awesome. So many great schools to choose from here. Well, Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Bears. I am one of the assistant directors of admission at Fairfield University in Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm also an alum, so I'm class of 2017. I've worked at a few different institutions post-grad, but I was a communication and music double major with a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies. And that's definitely the intersectional and interdisciplinary hallmark of a liberal arts institution overall, but definitely at Fairfield as well. So I'm excited to kind of share a little bit more about our institution tonight. So Fairfield University is a Catholic and Jesuit liberal arts institution located in Fairfield, Connecticut. For those of you who don't know where that is, it's right across from Long Island there, right? So we're about an hour from New York City on the train, like a little over a couple hours from Boston. We are a few hours from Philly and about 5 hours from DC. And during my time at Fairfield, I had an opportunity to go to all of these places for a club or organization, for classes, or just for fun as well. And it's our location that kind of makes us not perfectly unique, but definitely in many ways attracts many students to the institution. And so we are very much a suburban campus that's very tight knit. We guarantee housing all 4 years, and the majority of students live on campus those 4 years. However, we are also located in kind of a classic New England beach town. So many students end up living on the beach their senior year. Actually, over half of students do, which is definitely a hallmark of the Fairfield experience. But aside from that, as I kind of mentioned, we're only about an hour from New York. So whether it's hopping on the train to do internships, research, going to see a baseball game, a musical on Broadway, definitely things you can get involved in as a Fairfield student. About just over 75% of students do at least one internship during the time at Fairfield. Students in our School of Business do even more. But again, kind of that location, which makes us a nice suburban campus, beach town, access to the city, right? As I mentioned, we are a Jesuit institution. And so as a Catholic school, it's definitely a big part of our identity. And yes, if you are a person of faith, specifically the Catholic faith, but others as well, you will have opportunities to explore that during your time at Fairfield through service, residential colleges, campus ministry, different things like that. However, I would really like to note that it's a place for all students of all faiths or no faiths at all. So the way I like to talk about it is kind of, we have these values, similar to St. Mary's, honestly, where it's caring for the whole person, it's being a person for and with others, and striving for excellence, right? Giving back to the community. That's what the Jesuits wanted when they put their universities in different places around the country, to be able to give back and impact the world, both as students, but also post-grad in the larger community itself. When it comes to the institution and its makeup, we are, I would say, a medium-sized institution with about 4,000 or so undergraduate students and about 1,100 grad students. So definitely a main focus on the undergraduate experience. You can see a little few other facts about average class size and student to faculty ratio, but there's a lot of ways to get involved through clubs, organizations, and affinity groups on campus, as well as D1, NCAA D1, Division I sports on campus as well. There's a lot of school spirit, and that's something that I always like to drive home as an important part of our experience as well. When it comes to what we offer academically, we are a liberal arts institution, so you'll see that the college definitely holds a lot of what we have to offer. And that is really because, number one, it's important to be a well-rounded individual, and kind of, I think, as kind of Aiden was saying, about learning how to think and stuff like that. So it's important to note that, yes, you could be a psych major, but you could also double major in, I don't know, accounting, right? You have these opportunities to double major across schools, have minors in different schools, and really explore your interests. I had a friend who was an accounting and music double major. I had students who had double majors with a minor, and some students who were really go-getters who had a few different majors during their time at Fairfield. But all in all, you'll have those opportunities at a place like Fairfield. The one thing I want to narrow in on there is, for nursing is our only direct entry program at the institution. So if you want to study nursing at Fairfield, you have to apply with that right off the bat. It is the only major you cannot switch into while you're a student at Fairfield, okay? Other than this, we also have a number of cool 5-year programs, both for engineering, for business. Education is very popular. pre-health tracks, pre-med tracks type things, as well as pre-law as well. So, we don't have a massive footprint when it comes to land because we are in that suburban campus, but I like to say that we grow upwards instead of outwards. So even since I graduated in 2017, they've built like 5 new things on campus, whether it be the new School of Business, a brand new media center, upper year housing, rec center on campus, dining hall options, our School of Nursing, and a lacrosse stadium. There's a lot going on. And we're always kind of growing to accommodate students' needs and be that modern Jesuit institution. When it comes to merit aid, financial aid, both need-based and merit, we range from about $12,000 to $26,000 a year. There's no separate application for those. Financial aid is definitely awarded in a few different forms on campus, but you have to submit the FAFSA and then also the CSS profile to qualify for those. We definitely have a sticker price that's up there. I know that that may be scary for many of you. It was for me when I was applying to colleges and universities, but it's important to note that sometimes those schools that do have a high sticker price can often give you some really great aid. So consider that as you go along in your process. I'm just going to narrow in on this for a little bit, but that bottom left-hand corner. So about 98% of students who graduate within 6 months of graduation have either a full-time job secured or pursuing other educational opportunities like a grad school opportunity, PhD programs, med school, things like that, or are in service, right, within 6 months of graduation. That for all you stats nerds out there like me, about 2/3 of students responding is a pretty solid sample size. And that's including last year with COVID. So, you can get something out of your experience at Fairfield. It could be a great option for you. I'm glad I was able to share a little bit, but I know we have some really great institutions here. And so I'll pass it off to our next presenter.
Great, thank you all for joining us. I'm excited to share more about Franklin R. Marshall College. We are located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, just to give you some geographic orientation. I am going to pull up some slides here. Awesome. So I'm going to give you a sense of who we are as an institution, some of the highlights to get to know us, but then also happy to answer your questions in the chat and at the very end as well. So as I mentioned, we are 2,400 students total. We are a smaller institution in the grand scheme of schools that you're probably looking at over the course of this college search. So that 2,400 size, I think, is definitely going to allow you to feel like you're building meaningful relationships with your faculty and your peers, while at the same time feeling like you are really engaging with folks on a deep and meaningful level and encountering different perspectives outside of just the perspectives that you've always encountered in your high school environment or in other communities that you've been a part of. So we make a very intentional effort to create a campus that is a crossroads of the world. Our students come from 47 different states. They come from almost 50 different countries. So they're coming from all around the world to study F&M. And I think seeing the different walks of life that they bring to campus allows for a really vibrant and engaged campus community of people from all different backgrounds. We have 5 different college houses here at F&M. That's, I think, where you're really going to find the supportive community will begin. You'll be a member of one of the 5. You'll be a member of that college house starting in your first year. You'll be placed into the house through a connections course that you will take in your first year. That connections course is a first-year seminar style course intended to help you prepare for your life at F&M and build the skill sets that are going to be important going forward. It'll be taught in your college house, and it will also be, you'll be taking that course with the students who live with you. So creating that living and learning community where you can continue the conversation that you're having in the classroom back into the residential space is really what we're looking for, especially in that first year. That first year connections course, like I mentioned, is about 15 students in the class, but your college house will probably have about 100 to 150 students in it. So quite a number of people that you can get to know and make the F&M community feel a little bit more manageable and smaller when you first get here before you branch out into the rest of campus. So it definitely is a really great space. You will have access to it across your 4 years. So even when you live elsewhere on campus, starting in your sophomore year, you can always come back to events and programs, be a part of leadership on campus. So many different things that are happening in the college houses, but also 100 student-run clubs and organizations on campus. So that creates a really vibrant and active and engaged community all 7 days of the week. Our students are involved in typically 3, 4, 5 or more things. So it's great to see that they're engaging in all their passions, taking advantage of all the opportunities that are available to them. One of those things is athletics. We have 27 athletic programs here at F&M, predominantly Division III, but we also have squash, which is non-divisional, and wrestling is Division I. But the really balanced student athlete experience is what you're going to find. I would definitely recommend going to godiplomats.com if you're interested in athletics. You can find coaches' contact information there. We are the Diplomats for our mascots, so you can go to godiplomats.com. Dive into the academic experience at FNM and what you're going to get there. You're going to have until the end of your sophomore year to declare your major. So you have that time to really figure out what you want. You know what you want already. You can start taking classes in those areas. If you're still thinking about multiple different things or you're completely undecided, you have that freedom to really explore and get a sense of what's going to be important to you. Regardless of what you're majoring, you'll see our average class size is 17. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and about 80% of our courses are discussion based. So you're going to be predominantly in a smaller environment, typically in a conference, style setup of a room, rather than a large lecture hall classroom, where you're engaging with your faculty and peers on the material that's being discussed in class that day. I think when you get to know your professors on such a deep level, they're going to really look out for you. They're very invested in your 4-year experience. That's why you see so many students doing research here at FNM. About 2/3 of our students are going to do some sort of research or a one-on-one faculty guided experience before they graduate. Typically doing research that's above the undergraduate level in its quality, because we are only undergraduates, so students are not competing with graduate students for these opportunities. So doing really great and innovative things. You'll see lots of interdisciplinary combinations that you can put together. So going and doing major minor combinations, double majors. We also have some standalone interdisciplinary programs, such as our public health program, which is a combination of biology, sociology, and government. So you approach different public health issues from those different perspectives. So a lot of great opportunities academically, and you're really in the driver's seat of your education. Really other great opportunities to engage with are study abroad. That's a great option for you if you're interested in doing so. Just over half of our students will study off campus at some point before they graduate. We have 200 different partner programs across 60 different countries, so a lot to dive into and figure out, but you can see how long you want to be there, whether that's a semester or a year-long experience, short-term programs. Maybe you're looking for specific academic programs, or you're looking for classes that are going to be offered in your major. You'll find programs that are going to be a good fit for you. And we really worked with students to pursue this if they are interested in doing so. And that's why I think you see so many will choose to do so. We want you to engage with the Lancaster community. I think that's something that a lot of our students will take advantage of. We have an office on campus, the Ware Institute for Civic Engagement, that does a great job of getting students engaged in the community. But also if you want to just go to restaurants and shops with your friends, or to go downtown and go do your grocery shopping at Lancaster Central Market, or catch a show at the Fulton Theater downtown, you can certainly go and do that. We are in the western part of the city of Lancaster, so you can walk downtown very easily. We're about an hour and a half west of Philadelphia, an hour and a half north of Baltimore. We have an Amtrak station that's just a mile north of campus. So in terms of accessibility, it's very easy to get to New York, Philadelphia, or DC through the train. And it's also great to see the vibrant small city community that you will find here in Lancaster. The Office of Student and Postgraduate Development is a really great hub for preparing you for life after FNM, whether that's going into a job or fellowship, grad school programs. You're looking for internships, connecting in our alumni network, lots of different ways that you can engage with this office. But the student and development advisor that you'll have assigned to your college house will be your primary point of contact. We also have pre-professional advising in health professions or pre-law, that kind of thing, also in this office. To wrap up with our application process, we'll accept the common application or the coalition application, either one of those. We are test optional. We've been test optional for over a decade, and we plan to be going forward as well. We do recommend interviews if you're able to do so. We would love to connect with you one-on-one and get a sense of who you are and answer your questions. We have 4 total rounds to apply in at FNM, 2 rounds of early decision, November 15th and January 15th. We also have our early music notification round, which is December 1st, and regular decision is January 15th. You'll also see that we meet 100% of demonstrated need in regards to financial aid. You'll apply with the FAFSA and the CSS profile there. So that's the core information that I wanted to share about FNM, but excited to wrap up with some of your questions.
All right, reps, thank you so much. That was some great information you shared with everyone. And before we kind of close off this session, wanted to let you all kind of share some great advice with them and some fun stuff as well. So the question that we're going to have for the evening is going to be this right here. Give an interesting fun fact about your school.
I can go first. Tufts kind of has this sort of idiosyncratic, kind of quirky tradition that happens each fall on Halloween. Students will wake up in the morning and find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of mini pumpkins stuck around random places on campus, on top of fences. There was one that was all the way on top of a spire on a residence hall, and no one knows how they show up there. There's sort of a mysterious pumpkining committee that is hard at work the night before Halloween, and then they appear on campus the next day. So it's kind of a fun, kind of quirky little idiosyncrasy.
I think I'll stick with a quirky tradition as well. Every winter, we have a wonderful winter carnival to try to keep our students engaged and exciting during some of the winter months in Maine. And so actually in the middle of campus, we have what we call Lake Andrews. And as a part of a annual wonderful tradition, there is a hole cut out of the middle of Lake Andrews, and students will jump into Lake Andrews in the middle of the winter and to be met quickly with some wonderful hands and some fire and hot chocolate. But for those who are truly adventurous, puddle jump, as they affectionately refer to it, is a wonderful tradition at Bates every winter.
I love that one, Tyler. So I just learned about this one recently. So when you visit campus, you'll notice there's a really big SMC sign up in the hill, which you can actually hike to. It was a longstanding rivalry between Santa Clara University and St. Mary's back in, I mean, there's still a rivalry a little bit in our athletics, but back in the 70s, in the 60s or 70s, the rugby team of Santa Clara actually came on our campus and stole the sign, the SMC sign. It used to be wood. So it's now concreted into the hill to prevent any thefts from other schools. And one of our traditions at St. Mary's during the weekend of welcome, the first year students will actually hike to the top of the hill and paint the St. Mary's sign with no paintbrushes allowed. So you end up carrying up buckets of paint and end up just having a ton of fun, just sloshing paint around. And it's a good way to meet people and just let those barriers down.
At Middlebury, we founded the first Muggle Quidditch team in the world, potentially, in 2005. And there still is a highly competitive Quidditch team at Mid. So you'll see students running around on broomsticks of sorts. Unfortunately not flying, but is a really fun, quirky tradition between dorms.
Not flying yet. So I think for Fairfield, I just like to talk about this. So because it happened the other day, but we have a large turkey population on campus. And so you definitely have to allow a little bit of time to evade them on your way to class in the morning, or for me, on your way into the office between a covered garage and literally my admission office. So if you like turkeys or like a challenge, good place.
Fun fact about F&M, and also incorporates, I think, some neat history as a part of it. We were originally founded as two separate colleges, so Franklin and Marshall colleges were separate. So Franklin College was founded back in 1787 in a very new America at the time. We were founded as the first bilingual college in the country. So our students were educated in both English and German back in 1787. And our students still to this day take a second language. So I think it's a really cool thing to see students who are graduating share that common theme with the very first graduates all the way back in the 1700s.
All right, that was great information. Thank you all so much. And participants, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. Remember, there's other sessions to go to as well. And this session is going to be recorded and it'll be available at strivescan.com/BACS. After you leave this window, there'll be a quick full question survey that you'll receive as well to do. Representatives, thanks so much for your time this evening. I so enjoyed hearing about your institutions. Hopefully we can do this again really, really soon. And thank you all for coming and have a wonderful evening. Thank you all so much for everything.